Welcome back to the drudgery, the car vlog, the insidious drudge of drudgery. Yeah. Good news, I as long as I'm feeling like it, I should have the new microphone for the GoPro tomorrow. I should have it today, so tomorrow's video should have the new audio, the new microphone. You get to see how that works. In the same vein, I think I am just about ready to start scripting Touching Gadgets 5, I guess. The GoPro episode. I think that'll be good. I think the microphone. I'm not waiting for the microphone, but I want to have it just because in my regular usage of the GoPro, that is the one component that's troublesome. The Zoom, the H1 Zoom recorder that I've used, and the mounting, the whole set. I've had issues with the Zoom, and I don't necessarily. And going to Touching Gadgets, which I record on the Zoom in my little portable sound booth, I am not thrilled. I have it at a recording level of 75, and I realized that I compared it to the H4n I have for work. I compared it to that, and the H4n at the office is set to a recording level of 75 as well. It just, I mean, I'm very loud and energetic when I do Touching Gadgets, but it just goes buzzy. It can't handle it. It can't handle. I mean, the Zoom H1 cannot handle that, or I just need to get farther away from the microphone. But when you're recording within that small little box booth, you can't get too far away. So I'm disappointed by that. Plus, it's not practical for the car. There's too much setup. I like to just pop it in and go, and I can do that with this new microphone. Anyway, we'll talk about all of that later when I get the microphone and I try it out a little bit. I'm excited about it. That's probably one of the small things I'm genuinely looking forward to. But god fucking damn it. Like I said, it's been a really, really, really busy work weeks, and I think the slowdown is going to, unfortunately, I think the slowdown is going to be this forcible break because of Christmas, the holiday break, and then it's just going to just jump right back in and barely break at that. And this is the situation, and I think I described it before, but you are so busy. You're so focused, and you have no choice, because that's the requirement, that's the job, there is no break. It got to a point where there was no break in the day, where it is just, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done, and all has to be done right now. So you're work. You're focus. You're intently dedicated. And then shit goes down that reminds you this is another organization that really doesn't care about its employees. That doesn't care. And it's funny because here's the whole picture. I mean, completely unrelated. Sunday night, I just slipped into a little bit of a depression. No real cause for it, and it was nothing serious. It was just usually I'm here, and Sunday night I was down here, carried over to Sunday morning. I just wasn't myself. Just wasn't feeling myself. Or Monday morning, wasn't feeling myself, and then at work, I got hit with the fact that I didn't have any sick time, and I didn't have any personal days that I was expecting to have this year. And that really pissed me off. And that really, because again, you're giving that dedication to the company, and the company in return says, Fuck you. And it's interesting, as I'm thinking about it right now, I got a warning on this. A reminder about, a company is a company. The whole weekend was that reminder. A company is a company. Faceless bastards that are only concerned about their bottom line, right? There was a quiet reminder Friday night from a coworker that is, at the time, didn't even really think about it. I was like, oh, poor her. Hope it works out for her. When I look back on that conversation in the context of Monday and what happened with me, it's like, it's this same fucking issue. It's the same fucking issue, and it helps me feel better about not being so selfishly indignant. It is more. It affects everybody. And then the other reminder was the whole Verizon saga, which I'm not going to rehash the whole thing. Touchinggadgets.com. There's the 2 detailed posts on it. They sent the free iPhone. I thanked them for it. They said, send it back or we'll charge you full retail on the first one. And Sam and I decided we're going to send them both back and cancel our contract and cancel Verizon. Be done with it. And it is, on one hand, yes, it is a little petty. It's a little ridiculous. Verizon made a shipping error. What's the big deal? And usually I'm that guy. I am, all the time, I am that guy. I'm the guy. Whatever. It's not a big deal. It's out of my control. There's nothing I can do about it. There's this big giant faceless company that you have no control over. There's nothing you can do. They want to screw you over. If you bend over, they will plow you. That's just the way it is. If you got a problem, just go somewhere else. There's no point in making a fuss about it. There will be no ripples. You throw a rocket, you can throw a boulder into the pond that is Verizon. There will be no ripples. There's no point to it. So, that's the kind of guy I am. Just find, if you got a problem with it, go somewhere else. Do something else. That's end of story. But for some reason, this was different. I felt like I have to respond to these people. And that was the first letter, and then I followed up with the second letter, and Sam put a tag on the second letter saying we were really expressing herself, and I'm proud of her for that. That was kind of cool. So yeah, part of it is, yes, it is kind of a petty thing. You can't fight the decisions of giant corporations and expect to get anywhere. On the other hand, there's the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. And it really isn't about the money, it isn't about the phones, it isn't about anything other than the customer service and the right thing to do. And I'm just tired, and Sam's tired of it too. They made a shipping mistake, and now they want us as their customer to pay for it. When that shipping mistake is the same kind of boulder in the pool, the ocean that is Verizon. There's not a ripple. It's not a blip on their radar. It doesn't matter to them. So why not do the right thing? Impart some goodwill to your customer base, who will then communicate that out to other people. That's good customer service. That's good business practice. No, the decision is to go the other way. Send us the phone back, or we'll charge you full retail on the phone you did buy. A phone that does not really exist. I'm sure it's listed in the inventory somewhere, but as far as they knew, until I said something about it, until I said something about it, number one, they didn't know it was missing. Number two, they still don't know what phone it is because they don't have a serial number on it. So they don't even know it's going to be missing until they get it back in the mail. This is how ludicrous the whole situation is. But, that's what it really boils down to, the ethics of it. And I feel like I did the ethical thing telling them that I had it, and that put the ball in their court to do the ethical thing and say, thank you for being a great customer, and yes, we made a mistake. Let's go ahead and make it right. And it's just this whole weekend of companies not doing the right thing, not showing a human face, not caring about the human people that interact with the company, not caring about the goodwill that should be fostered. I think goodwill is more important than getting your bonus. It can be more valuable than the retail price on the phone, or in the case of the company I work for, show some goodwill to your employees. They will stick around longer. They will work harder. That has to be a little bit more valuable than being so stringent with policies that withhold benefits. That doesn't foster goodwill. That doesn't foster loyalty. That doesn't foster good working relationships between you and your company. That doesn't make your employees feel like valuable members of your organization. And it's frustrating to be reminded of that when you have been so focused and dedicated and diligent. So it turned into this massively shitty Wednesday, and it was just. Anyway, I sent the phones back. There was one other detail. The upshot here. Things took a turn, and I guess I'll go back to the phones in a minute here. But things took a turn. I posted on Facebook, and this is all. No one knows about this. So if you're listening, aside from Sam and people at the here, this was the detail about the phones. Because of my bad experience with Verizon and their customer service and how they choose to treat their customer in my case. I'm sure they have different experiences per people. Coworker came to me and said I might be getting a phone for my birthday. How does that change my plan? She's still on a dumb phone. How does that well, let's sit down, let's look at the plans. And she is on Verizon. Now I told her right off the bat, you know what, my first suggestion, based on, and I am incredibly biased here, get away from Verizon, leave Verizon. And at the end of our little powwow, I showed her the plans on T-Mobile and how competitive they were, prepaid, contract-free, affordable phone options that would really be a step up from where she's at, in addition to fitting her technological lifestyle, which is minimal. Point being, by the end of that conversation, because of Verizon's choices over the weekend, they lost 3 customers. I mean, it wasn't just me and Sam. It was me, Sam. I mean, this is what I do. I consult people. I give people recommendations, and in this case, I convinced her. I mean, it's not done yet. It's not for sure, but the odds seem pretty good that she will switch to prepaid T-Mobile in the coming months, if not sooner, just because it is more affordable, and because I had that influence on her, because Verizon decided to do the wrong thing when they could have done the right thing. Anyway, again, Boulders into the ocean. There's my title, Boulders into the ocean. Not even a ripple. So, the depression from the night before, that was just, the manure for fertilizing the shitty morning, the shitty Monday, as it were. And it was miserable. It was a miserable fucking day. And the first shining moment was that finally, Religiously Roasted published to iOS, so it's available for iPad, iPhone, all the iOS devices through the iBook store. And I just posted that on Facebook because I've been waiting for it. I'm still waiting for Nook. I mean, I refreshed that iOS iTunes page hourly, waiting for it to pop up. So there it was. It finally popped up, and okay, I can finally start pushing this out a little bit more. And like 5 minutes after I posted that, I got a message from the person I'm vaguely connected to through Trip, Kathleen Falsani from Sojourners.net, who syndicates Trip stuff every now and then, most of the time, onto the Sojo website, the Sojourners website. Big deal here. She said that the Sojo intern is going to read and review Religiously Roasted. And I was just like, whoa. I was like, step away from the computer and thank the God that I do not believe in. Wow. That is a blessing that cannot be quantified. I mean, maybe it can be, we'll see. But it just made me stop. I mean, wow. Sojourners is going to, it's an intern, but Sojourners is going to review a book, and it's just a novella. I'm really excited about it, and hope it plays out. I mean, I don't want to put too much faith in it. I don't want to put too much. He could not like the book. That's always possible. He could not like that whole Sue character and her arc in the story. It could be a horrible review. It could be a review that doesn't even get published. I mean, these are possibilities. So I don't want to put too much value into this detail, but it was something I needed yesterday, and you know, the hope that it inspires is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and that was my day yesterday. That helped turn me around. If you're watching, by the end of the day, I can report that sex really does fix everything. So that helped. And today I'm clear. I'm obviously irked about everything, but I think I will be able to talk to my boss today. When I'm mad at someone, I'm mad at my boss because I was mad at him yesterday because obviously all of this, I mean, he's not directly responsible for any of it, but he does have power to fix it, and I don't think he's going to because it's company policy. And I wrote him an email first thing that morning, and he wasn't even around all day. He was in meetings all day. But I wrote him an email complaining about it and outlining my two major complaints about it. That I think are perfectly valid. They are perfectly valid. They are logistical, managerial, administrative, business policy, practice complaints, in addition to emotional, moral, ethical complaints. But there are some real. I think there's a good root to it that, and there's a good reason to fix it. But again, I don't expect it to be fixed. And what bothers me is that he does have the power to fix it, but he's not going to. Or I'm assuming he's not going to. And because of that, I'm angry at him without actually knowing any of the outcome, without even, I'm sure, I don't even know if he's seen the complaint yet. So when I'm mad at someone, I will probably avoid them like a plague. And when he did, I didn't say a word. We didn't really cross paths, but he passed my door a couple of times, and I just completely ignored him and did not say a word to him. Point being that today I feel like I'm a little refocused and more in a better mood, so I can engage with him on a normal level. last night I did sit down, and I think these are keys. These are important. I was able to I finished editing a scene in Caffeine, and I had to pull out the script to kind of just see the flow of the scene. I was wondering where there was some narration and where the narration was supposed to go. And I saw that I have at least a rough cut of about 65% of this movie. And that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty good. I took a really long break in editing, and I'm kind of like going back and seeing how much I had actually assembled and laid out on the timeline. And there's a huge chunk of video that's laid out and ready to just do the good work, the good kind of editing where you're kind of like really cutting the scenes together, picking the takes. It's already assembled, so I can just actually edit it down. So I finished editing a scene last night that I started working, I think, earlier in the week, or last week rather. And that was a good motivator, a good little, a good effort at refocusing myself, getting back on track. Again, these past several weeks, this past month and a half, so focused on work shit, and I can't. It is a path to horrible things, and the key needs to be focused on the more important things. And the first reminder was, the reminder that the important things can bear fruit. It was the Sojourners bit of news, and then even the things that there's no immediate or long-term fruit-bearing returns viewable. There's still a reason to focus on them and let myself be 100% involved in them. So getting back to the caffeine and focusing on that. There are noodles about monsters in America and different ways to approach it, and more monsters, and finding a way to be productive with that concept, that storyline. This is all it takes. It's one little nudge, and so the Sojourners bit was the nudge that I needed. And I've got a script with me. Night of the Living Evil Undead People of the Night, and that's I actually started adapting that years and years ago, and I think there's maybe a half a chapter that's fully. I didn't make any headway in the adaptation of that, but I have it with me. I pulled them out. I pulled a whole stack of scripts out of storage, and they've been sitting on my bookshelf. So I actually have Night with me, and I'm going to start thinking about adapting it as the next adaptation project. It's kind of Abbott and Costello meets Night of the Living Dead meets Evil Dead, meets something with vampires. It's I think it's the first. It was it was the first screenplay that really explored the comical elements. First story. No, I think Vampires. Explorers of the Unknown Vampires came first, but one of the first stories I wrote that really explored the more comical elements of all the classical horror stuff. I think it's hilarious. It's really good. There's a huge climactic fight sequence at the end between our heroes and a vampire, and they're fighting with wooden swords. It's just silly. It's funny. I like it. So I look forward to. I'm hoping I can. And after the Religiously Roasted adaptation, I have some ideas on how to do a better job adapting a story and organizing that project. And that's something that I didn't really do. I just started Religiously Roasted and was writing and adapting. with this, I think I need to start outlining and kind of break it out and review the story. That's the thing about Religiously Roasted. I had ideas about what I wanted to do to update the story. I never really, I'm not sure I executed as well as it should have been. So I need to review the story in night and put together an outline and really know the marks that I need to hit to get that story on par with where I want it to be. Or maybe it's perfect as is. I don't know. But yeah, tomorrow, new microphone. Cross your fingers. And that's that. It was a shitty day yesterday. And I am going to, I've got the forcible work break coming up, but I need to force myself back into a more flexible daily work schedule, hourly work schedule, because I've just been working too diligently, and that needs to stop. I can get the same stuff done while not staying so focused, because if I stay too focused, it leads to bad places. It's too focused on work, it leads to bad places. So that is my personal goal for the office, because there's nothing else that really bears fruit here where I am at. Anyway, that's it. Stay tuned. Stay creative.